It is 8:01, so we will call this session of Jackson County Board of Education to order. As our tradition, we will take a few moments to pray or silently reflect on the things that are going on in our system, our state, and our nation. We're coming up on summer, and our kids are going to be leaving us, so let's remember those. Let's remember the individuals who are going to be receiving pink slips. You may be looking for other employment. Those who are retiring, we have some retirements and some retirements coming up, I believe. So let's remember those folks and everything that's associated with this.
Let's also say a special prayer for Mr. Gant, who's been feeling a little under the weather the past few days.
Yeah, we're proud to have him.
We're glad to have him here.
Good to be here.
So if you will bow with us for a moment, please. Thank you. Okay, first thing on our agenda is to approve the agenda as presented. But before we do that, under transfers, we need to strike I. So remove I, transfer of Atlanta Moore. So if you will mark that one off, please. So we will have H, and I is the last one on transfers. So if you'll strike I.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
before we approve the agenda, can we add an executive session to talk about good name and character of employees on the agenda?
Good name and character, can we do that at
Let's
the
do it
end?
before.
Need to do it before?
Need to do it first.
Okay. So Mr. West has requested a executive session at the beginning. Is there anything else that needs to be added to the agenda?
Yes, I'd like to add an amendment to the agenda.
Okay.
General business, part C has two options. I'd like to add a third option to
Okay.
reconsider the motion made by the superintendent on April 27th, 2017 to close Paint Rock Valley School.
Okay. So, Dr. Guess, you want to add, to reconsider the motion made by Mr. Dukes last year, this time to close Paint Rock Valley School?
Yes, sir.
So closure of Paint Rock Valley School. Effective.
At the end of this school year.
Okay, so we have a motion for executive session. We struck I, and we have a motion to amend the agenda to include under general business C, number 3, closure of Paint Rock Valley School effective at the end of the school year. That's a third option. Is there any other amendments or changes to the agenda before we vote to approve?
Could we ask Mr. Porter, is that legal to do that?
Well, it should be reconsider the recommendation. Motion. Mr. Duke didn't make the motion, so it should be reconsider his recommendation. Yes, sir, that's.
So at this time, do I need to speak up, or when we get to that item?
Okay. So we had 3 changes to the agenda. So at this time, we will consider a motion to approve the agenda as it is presented.
I make a motion, we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? Then we'll move to a vote. And Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, and the agenda has been approved. We will now entertain a motion to go into executive session. If that's okay.
If you're gonna discuss good name and character of an employee or another individual, that is an exception to those meetings.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Porter. So we will move forward with that, entertaining a motion to go into executive session.
I move to go in executive session.
Mr. West makes the motion. I will second that. Any discussion? We will move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
And myself is a yes, so we are now in executive session. We will move to the boardroom on the other end, and we will be back in just a few moments. We will now entertain a motion to come out of executive session.
I make a motion to come out of executive session.
Mr. Story makes a motion to come out. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Gant seconds that. We will move to a vote to come out of executive session. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, and we are now in executive session. Under general business, we have consider a motion for any corrections, additions, or deletions to the May the 3rd, 2018 and May the 8th, 2018 board meeting minutes.
Has this got to do with the work session too? There's minutes to the work session. You don't say
That
anything about
was-
it.
No, it didn't say the work session, so this was not for the work session. This would be the complete board meeting. I'll make a motion to accept those minutes.
I second the motion.
Mr. Story seconds that. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, and those minutes have been approved. B, motion to approve the financials for April 2018. The total payroll expenditures were $3,691,291.55. And the total non-payroll expenditures were $2,402,097.83. Before we can take a motion on that. Is there a motion? I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
I guess seconds that. For discussion, Jeff, do you want to say anything?
Well, I just want to mention that the non-payroll expenditures are a little high this year compared, or this month compared to previous months. And it's because that we had a lot of catching up to do with capital projects, the Woodville project, and also the expenditures of principal and interest come due in April. We make payments all during the year, but they don't actually become expenditures until payments are made to the bondholders, which are done in April, so all those flow through at one time. So it kind of balloons up the April expenditures every year, so that's why they're so high.
Okay,
Other than that, they're pretty normal.
all right. Thank you, Jeff. Any questions on that? Then we will move, we have a motion and a second. We will move to approve. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, and that motion carries. Item 3, we had consider a motion to approve how to proceed with Paint Rock Valley lunchroom renovations. We had an amended recommendation, and that was a motion to reconsider the superintendent's recommendation to close Paint Rock Valley School at the end of the year. Mr. Dukes, is that indeed your recommendation?
I said I was not bringing it up again, but that is my recommendation. I made it a year ago because I felt that's what is best for the students of Paint Rock Valley School, and I stick with my recommendation.
Okay, so that is your recommendation, is to close your Paint Rock Valley at the end of the school year.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that was the last recommendation. We will take that one first, and if it doesn't pass, then we will move to the others. So do we have to approve the superintendent's recommendation to close Paint Rock Valley at the end of the school year? I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
I guess seconds that. Is there any discussion?
Let's discuss that.
Okay.
A year ago, the superintendent said he would not make that recommendation again. That's been on TV, newspapers, and everywhere. Are we gonna make him out a liar and ask him to do that?
I said I would not bring it up again.
You brought it up because you made a recommendation.
Okay,
It was brought up to me and I made a recommendation.
that's neither here
Board
nor there.
members
We,
cannot make a recommendation. The superintendent has to make that recommendation.
I make the recommendation to close Paint Rock Valley School.
Okay.
Effective at the end of the 2017-2018 school year.
Then you did not tell the people of Jackson County the truth about it. You said you was gonna pump money into that school, you was gonna treat it like you did the rest of them, and you have not done that. As of this day, you've not spent $1 over there, and you have not done anything to get more students over there. So you are not telling this board and the county the truth. And if you lie about one thing, you'll lie about something else.
Mr. West, you're out of order.
This is a discussion.
You're out of order. We're not gonna accuse folks of being liars, so.
I'm
you're
not
out.
accusing him, he done it himself.
You're out, okay.
Mr. West, let me please intervene here with some comments. I think at the work session, folks could see my concerns about Paint Rock Valley School. And I raised this point because it's our duty to do what's right for all the kids in Jackson County. And I have real concerns about what we're doing. Paint Rock Valley School has been, it's a wonderful school for Paint Rock Valley for many years. It's got a long and storied and proud history. But we have reached a point in time when, in spite of the best efforts of the staff and the faculty and an amazing volunteer over there for this past year, Paint Rock Valley did not grow. Paint Rock Valley did not thrive and overcome the fact that that the attendance is down. Our enrollment is down everywhere, but that is our very smallest school. And when you have so few teachers trying to work so hard to teach every standard, and our standards now are really, really challenging. Every standard for every subject across 13 grade levels. It's daunting. Not only is it daunting for our regular academic program, those students there don't have the same opportunities that kids have in other places. In sports, in electives, and in so many different ways. They don't have those opportunities. And they deserve those opportunities. It's not that the faculty there doesn't want to provide them. It's not that the kids don't want them. It's not that we don't want them to have it. The numbers are so small, we can't sustain them. Closing Paint Rock Valley is a hard thing to do. It's not something that people want to do, to end a tradition. But we've had to close schools across this county since 1900 as schools came together to be able to provide an effective education that helps them move forward, that helps them in the 21st century. It's a hard thing to do, but sometimes you have to do the hard thing to get to a better place. And I believe that as hard as it is, as much as we don't want to do it, it's the best thing for the children in Paint Rock Valley because it's educationally sound. I believe it's the best thing to do for all of our students in Jackson County because it's the financially responsible thing to do. Because then we can become more equitable in our per pupil expenditure. So it's with a heavy heart that I bring this up, but I honestly believe that those kids deserve an opportunity to develop their unique talents. You know, we've got a vision statement that says We want to help all our kids develop their unique talents. And we struggle to do that in our bigger schools, but we can't do that effectively in Paint Rock Valley, no matter how hard they work and how dedicated they are, and I know that they are. I think it's the right thing to do. It's the hard thing to do, but I think it's the right thing to do. And that's why that's why I spoke up today. That's why I spoke up at the work session. Because that's what I believe.
Well, Dr. Guest, with all due respect, have you had any complaints from Paint Rock Valley parents wanting the school closed?
Yes.
Who are they?
I'm not going to reveal that. That's not
If you
fair
won't
to
give
them.
names, as superintendent has said before, if you won't call names, then something's wrong.
Well, then you can accuse me of whatever, Mr. West, but I am not going to tell you about my private conversations with parents at Paint Rock Valley.
Have you had complaints from the teachers at Paint Rock Valley?
I have not spoken with the teachers at Paint Rock Valley.
Okay.
And Mr. West,
Have you rode the bus over to see how long these bus routes are gonna be?
Mr. West, I know the bus routes are long. We have long bus routes up in Stevenson too. Very long bus routes. That's the challenge of our county, being geographically large. That's why we had so many small schools to start with. But you're going to use arguments and questions about this, that, and the other to try to preserve a school for the sake of preserving it. There are many ways to preserve the traditions in Paint Rock Valley, to save the building, to do wonderful things with the building. But if we want our kids to have a 21st century education with the same opportunities everywhere in the county, we can't do that at Paint Rock Valley unless we pump a whole lot of money into it, put more personnel down there, and then the per pupil expenditure goes up for that school, and then it becomes unfair for other schools. I think it would be, as I said, the educationally and financially, the responsible thing to do. And I think that's what we're charged with as a board, to do the responsible thing for our kids. I am speaking to you today when I'd rather not be, on a very hard thing, but I think it's the right thing.
Thank you, Dr. Guest.
I'd like to make a statement.
Stuart?
18 years ago, when I got elected, I told the people of Paint Rock Valley that I'd never vote to close their school. Last year, we had a meeting down there. 4 prominent people in the community got up and made all kinds of promises that they would try to fulfill. Since then, 3 of those people have moved off, left, or favored another school besides Paint Rock Valley. They didn't fulfill their promises. 3 or 4 teachers put on displays of what they would improve in the community. 2 of those teachers moved to other schools. As far as I'm concerned, the people did not fulfill their promises. They told us that's why we gave them another year. Mr. Gant made a motion that we give them another year. We didn't vote on his motion, but I considered his motion. We gave them a year. Their shortage is still there, and they haven't. I think the principal's done an excellent job. I believe he's done everything he could possibly do, and most of the teachers. But the community, some of the prominent people in the community say now that don't matter what happens next year, we're going to move our kids somewhere else. I've had 2 calls from down there that prominent people say we're going to move our kids somewhere else next year. And I'm not, Ms. Guess, I'm not telling who called me, but it was 2 of the people that I've been acquainted with for 18 years on the board. So they, as far as I'm concerned, they didn't fulfill the community. The four major people that had power in the community did not fulfill their promises.
Thank you, Mr. Story.
Those 2 or 3 people that y'all talked to that wants to move their students, wanted to move them, their children to play ball, not for educational purposes.
One of them, yes.
Okay. That was just for sports.
One of the parents that I talked to, I don't think their child participates in sports at all.
The superintendent made a statement, he would not recommend this for the next 4 years.
Okay.
And I just like for the people of Jackson County to
Do-
remember that
do-
he said that.
Duly noted, Mr. West. So we will now
Mr.
move
Gant,
to.
Mr. Gant, you got anything to say?
May I have the floor?
Absolutely.
There's been a lot of points made that are legitimate and true. But I have a real concern that today this is dropped on the board with no opportunity for the people from Paint Rock Valley to have input or to defend any of the matters concerning their school. That's my concern.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gant. Just to respond, Mr. Gant, before we move to a vote, we went through a process last year of having meetings and having folks here, and they spoke on behalf of the school, and they were very sincere with their feelings and their thoughts toward Paint Rock Valley, and we respect those thoughts. But being charged as a board, I think we have to look at the well-being of students, all students, their educational needs, as well as those, not just in that area, but all throughout the county. So, like I said, it's not easy. Wish that it were different. Wish that it was a thriving area, and it would probably would greatly impact that school. But it's dwindled to the point now that we're really doing those students a disservice by leaving the school open. And it bothers me to think that those students are getting ready to go into the workplace and into college not prepared, and that's what I'll base my judgment on every time. So.
I understand what you're saying, Mr. President, but like Mr. Gant said, if you drop that on the board today, this meeting, next meeting, it may be another school. And we've got some other needs across the county. We have got a middle school at Stevenson that the top is about to fall in on. The maintenance people can't even get on top of it. And something needs to be done with that school. That's probably more danger than anything else we got going on right now. And if you drop this one on us this month, are you gonna drop that one on us next month to close that school? And every community's gonna be losing their identity when you do that. Every community is doing it one at a time.
And this, I don't think this comes as a huge surprise, since we had the issue that came up a year ago, as well as in our work session this past month. So it's not.
It comes as a huge surprise when the superintendent said he would not recommend that for 4 years, and he has recommended it in one
You
meeting.
made that point just a few minutes ago. So unless there's anything different, we will move to a vote.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I move we amend the main motion by adding the words, with 1 month delay in the decision.
I think we're ready for a vote. We have a motion and a second on that, Mr. Gant. So if we go through this vote and it doesn't pass, then we will take that up.
You're supposed to take the amendment.
But we have a motion and a second.
Yeah, but
He
an
said-
amendment changes the motion.
We would, Mr. Porter, we need to have a majority.
You would have to have the person who made the motion to amend it.
Okay. So, Dr. Guest, do you desire to amend that?
You made the motion.
I made that one. I do not desire to change that motion. But would be willing to consider that after this vote. So we'll move to vote. Mr. West,
No.
Mr. Story,
Yes.
Dr. Guess,
Yes.
Mr. Gant,
No.
and myself as a yes. And that motion of closing Paint Rock Valley School, effective the school year, passes. D, consider a motion to approve the following overnight trips. We have 3, and we can take those as one, or we can break them apart if we need to.
Let's break them apart.
Okay, we will break those apart, so we will take those individually. And we will consider those as 1, 2, and 3. So consider a motion to approve the overnight trip of number 1, North Jackson softball team to attend the state tournament in Montgomery, May the 15th through May the 18th. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Story seconds that. Is there any discussion?
Let's discuss that.
Okay.
Nobody has a problem with North Jackson softball team going to the state tournament. But we talked about this a few months ago. Everybody's supposed to get the travel approved, Alice County travel approved before they go. Somebody has dropped the ball here. I don't know if it's the board, the superintendent, or the principal. But the board policy says we cannot make trips retroactive. They have to have approval before they leave the county.
The thing is they did not know that they were making it to Montgomery until Saturday. And this is an opportunity for all teams, and this is the first time North Jackson schools ever made it to Montgomery. They didn't know if they would make it or not. In the future, we can put every high school in Jackson County for every athletic event, and it, of course, it'll extend the agenda, but we can do that from here on out.
That's
But-
board policy. That's what we're supposed to do.
And we voted on it every time.
The board policy says it has to be approved. Nobody's got a problem with North Jackson going. But it was supposed to have been approved before they went.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, then we will consider those comments and move to a vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. West is a yes. Mr. Story?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Myself is yes, and that overnight trip has been approved. 2, Skyline FFA to attend the FFA convention June the 6th through June the 8th. Again, we'll make that motion.
I'll make that move.
All right, Mr. Gant seconds that. Any discussion? We'll move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Motion carries. Consider a motion to approve the overnight field trip for Woodville FFA to attend the FFA convention June 6th through the 8th.
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Story makes a motion.
Second.
Mr. Gant's gonna second that. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to vote then. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Myself, yes, that motion carries. Under personnel actions, we have non-renewals, and we have not made these names public to the audience due to the fact that we want to be able to inform those employees first. So that's why you don't have a list of those names. So can we consider this list as a whole? Is there any objection to considering this list as a whole? You good?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Oh, can we consider that list as a whole?
I think we should go down the list.
You wanna go down the list?
Yes, please.
Okay, Mr. Gant has suggested that we go down the list, so what we'll do is we will, and this is for certified personnel, so we will start at the very top, and we're gonna number these, we're gonna number them, so rather than alphabetically, ABC, we're gonna number them 1, 2, 3, all the way through, whatever that is. So if you will number those.
Let's talk about this list as a whole.
I'm not finished
Okay.
numbered. You'll give me a second. So we have already decided to vote on these individually on Mr. Gant's recommendation, so, we'll take those, not taking it as a whole anymore, we're taking them as individuals. So, we have is everybody numbered? You numbered?
24.
Got 24 certified.
Okay.
Okay. So, we will, consider a motion to non-renew number 1. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Yes, seconds. Any discussion on 1?
Let's discuss one. This
Okay.
school has got 2 on the pink slip, and they've only lost 1 unit. As a whole, the county only lost 4 units, 4.16 units according to the LEA report. We've got 24 pink slips here. I did not understand in the beginning why we had 24 pink slips, but I guess we'd already decided to close Paint Rock Valley School, and we're probably gonna have to move some teachers around. That may be the reason. Is there a reason why we've got 24 pink slips and only got losing 4 teaching units?
Last year, our pink slip list was larger than this one. Every year, we lost 4 state allocated units, but you've also got federal dollars, and you were in a business once upon a time, I believe. Sometimes, not everybody's cut out for that type of work. Sometimes, they'll be brought back. So, and every situation on this sheet's different.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. So we have a motion and a second. We'll move to vote. Mr. West?
No.
Mr. West votes no. Mr. Story?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Are we voting on
Number 1
Number
only.
one.
You want to-
that one?
Number 1 only, yes, sir.
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Myself is yes. Number 1 has been approved. We have, consider motion on renew number 2. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Dr. Guess seconds that. Any discussion? We'll move to a vote. Mr. West?
No.
Mr. Story?
I'm gonna vote yes, but both of those, I'd like to recommend the superintendent, both of those are good teachers.
Okay.
And a lot of these on this list are good, and a lot of these will come back.
The
I
math-
understand that, but some of them won't come back.
The math
It's kind
teacher
of-
did real good in the,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, I'm not calling it.
Okay, we have a motion, and a second. Mr. West, I think, voted no. Mr. Story voted yes. Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Mr. Gant is a yes. Dr. Guess?
Yes.
And myself is yes. Number 2 has been approved. Consider the non-renewal of number 3. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Move to vote. Mr. West?
No.
Mr. West votes no. Mr. Story?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Myself is yes. That has been approved. Consider the non-renewal of number 4. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Yes, seconds. No discussion, then we'll move to a vote. Mr. West?
No.
Mr. West votes no. Mr. Story?
Yes.
Mr. Story votes yes. Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Mr. Gant votes yes. Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Dr. Guess votes yes, and myself is a yes. Motion carries. Non-renewal of number 5. I'll make a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Yes, seconds that. If there's no discussion, we'll move to vote. Mr. West?
No.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. Non-renewal number 6. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Dr. Guess seconds that. There's no discussion, we'll move to vote.
No.
Mr. West is a no.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Story. Mr. Gant?
No.
Mr. Gant votes no. Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Is a yes, and myself is a yes, motion carries. Consider non-renewal number 7. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Dr. Guest seconds that. There's no discussion, we'll vote. Mr. West?
No.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
And myself is a yes, motion carries. Consider the non-renewal of number 8. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Dr. Guest seconds. No discussion, we'll vote. Mr. West?
No.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. Consider the non-renewal of number 9. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Dr. Guest is second. We'll move to vote. Mr. West?
No.
Mr. Story? Number 9.
Number 9's awful good teacher.
Number
I
9.
vote yes. He,
Yes, for number 9.
they need him back.
Mr. Story votes yes. Mr. Gant?
No.
Mr. Gant votes no. Dr. Guest?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. Non-renewal, consider motion non-renewal number 10. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Dr. Guest seconds. We'll move to vote. Mr. West?
No.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
No.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
And myself is a yes, motion carries. Consider a motion for non-renewal number 11. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Dr. Guest seconds. Move to vote.
No.
Mr. West is no. Mr. Story?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
No.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
And myself is a yes, motion carries. Consider the motion to non-renew number 12. I'll make the motion.
Second.
Dr. Guest seconds.
No.
Mr. West votes no. Mr. Story?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
No.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. Number 13, consider a motion to non-renew number 13.
I have a question.
Okay.
Are in these names people who have voluntarily agreed to be pink slipped?
No, sir. No, sir. They're aware that they're getting pink slips, but nobody's usually gonna voluntarily give up the job unless they're retiring
Are these recommended by the principals?
or what.
Pregnant.
Are all of these recommended by the principal?
Yes.
These are all recommended by the principal.
He said yes.
Well, some of them are recommended by the principal, some of them we've had to do if they're non-tenured. And we've got some schools that are losing teachers that have no non-tenured faculty in their school. And we're gonna have to put those tenured people in some of these spots. So no, not in every case, the principal.
Give me an
not
example of
necessarily.
that school.
Macedonia.
Macedonia is, let me get my LEA
We-
report.
Mr. West,
How long is
we're gonna,
that? How
that's
long
not
is that?
discussion, we're gonna move on. Consider the non-renewal number 13. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Dr. Guest is second that. We'll move to vote. Mr. West,
Do we not have a discussion?
if you got a discussion about number 13 specifically. If not, we're gonna move for vote.
Macedonia did not lose a hyper unit.
Mr. West, this is the vote on number 13. What is your vote?
No.
Mr. West votes no. Mr. Story?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
No.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. Consider motion to non-renew number 14.
Second.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Dr. Guest seconds that. If there's no discussion, we will vote. Mr. West?
No.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. Consider motion to non-renew number 15. I'll make the motion.
Second.
Dr. Guest seconds. If there's no discussion, we will vote. Mr. West,
No.
Mr. Story,
Yes.
Mr. Gant,
Yes.
Dr. Guest.
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. Consider motion to nominate number 16. I make the motion.
Second.
Dr. Guest seconds. No discussion, we'll move to a vote. Mr. West. Mr. West is a no. Mr. Story.
Yes.
Story is a yes. Mr. Gant.
Yes.
Mr. Gant is a yes, and Dr. Guest.
Yes.
And myself is a yes, motion carries. Consider a motion to nominate number 17. I make the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Dr. Guest seconds that. There's no discussion, we'll move to vote. Mr. West,
No.
Mr. Story,
Yes.
Mr. Gant,
Yes.
Dr. Guest.
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. Consider a motion to nominate number 18. I make the motion.
Second.
Dr. Guest seconds. If there's no discussion, we'll move to a vote. Mr. West,
No.
Mr. Story,
Yes.
Mr. Gant,
Yes.
Dr. Guest.
Yes.
Myself is a yes, that motion carries. Consider a motion not to nominate number 19. I make that motion.
Second.
Dr. Guest is second. Is there discussion?
Yes, this school's in my district.
Okay.
This school lost one unit, and they got 4 teachers on here pink slipping.
Okay.
Between federal dollars, class size reduction units, several things, when we calculated, they've lost 4 units. That sheet just gives what the state allocates us. Then we have federal dollars and we have other dollars. So it's, just based on that, that is all they're guaranteed to have, okay?
So which one of the number 19, 20, 21, 22, which one's federal dollar?
Mr.
No, we
Guthrie?
can't.
I don't have the list, but I can tell you that we have class size reduction units at these sites. Throughout the county, there's about 7 of these units that you're talking about that's federally funded. We are not, Title I is guaranteed each year. Title II is a class size reduction, Title VI is a class size reduction. We should not be placing those in right now until we know where the need's gonna be. That's what it's based on, is where the need will be when school starts. That's not to say that these won't come back. That amount will be there. But what school is at is yet to be determined on Greg's need.
Thank you, Mr. Guthrie. So we have a motion and a second on number 19. Unless there's anything different, we will move to a vote. Mr. West?
No.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. Consider motion to nominate number 20. I make that motion.
Second.
Dr. Guest seconds. Is any discussion? We'll move to vote. Mr. West?
No.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, that motion carries. Consider motion to nominate number 21. I'll make the motion.
Second.
Dr. Guest seconds. Any discussion? Move to vote. Mr. West?
No.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, that motion carries. Consider a motion to non-renew number 22. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Dr. Guest seconds that. Any discussion? I'll move to vote. Mr. West?
No.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
No.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, and that motion carries. Number 20, consider motion to nominate number 23. I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? We vote. Mr. West?
No.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
No.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. Consider a motion to nominate number 24. I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Mr. West?
No.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
And myself is a yes, that motion carries.
Can I make a statement real quick, please?
Yes.
That's why this agenda goes out 48 hours in advance, and you were more than welcome to come, and we could broke each one of these individually down instead of making a spectacle in front of the audience.
Here we go, we're gonna move to item B. Consider a motion to non-renew the following non-certified personnel effective May the 25th. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Can we take those 7 as a whole?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Mr. West?
Yes.
Okay. We are gonna consider all non-certified personnel in item B as one block. So we have consider a motion to non-renew the following non-certified people. It's on my attached list. Do we have a motion? I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Yes, second. So is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to vote. Mr. West?
No.
Mr. West votes no. Mr. Story?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Myself is yes, that motion carries. Under transfers, these things are covered. These things are covered. Consider a motion to transfer Devonna Stiles from a teacher at Bryant School to countywide ARI coach effective August the 1st. I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Story, second. Any discussion? We'll move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Myself is yes, motion carries. Consider a motion for B, consider a motion to transfer Crystal Myers from teacher at Dutton School to countywide ARI coach effective August the 1st. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Dr. Guest, second. Any discussion? We'll move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. C, consider a motion to transfer Marlene Neely from a teacher at Sexton High School to countywide ARI coach effective August the 1st.
I make that move.
Mr. Gant makes a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Story seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. Consider a motion to transfer Beth Reed from a teacher at Pisgah High School effective to countywide ARI coach effective August the 1st.
I'll make a motion, we approve D.
Mr. Story makes the motion. Is there a second? Dr. Guess seconds that. Any discussion? Move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, that motion carries. E, consider a motion to transfer Diane Stevens from a teacher at Skyline High School to countywide ARI coach effective August the 1st, 2018. I make the motion.
Second.
Yes, second. Any discussion?
Question.
Yes.
These are these already ARI teachers, or they?
Some of
Are
these
we
are
just changing
ARI
the name
teachers.
from teachers to ARI?
Some of them are already ARI teachers, some of them are not, but this was a position that we voted on at the last meeting to make these positions countywide. And so we opened them up and we had like 39 applicants put in for these positions. So some of them may be classroom teachers, some of them may already be ARI coaches.
Okay. But there's no new hires in this. These are all transfers from within the system.
These are all within the system already, yes.
Okay. If there's no further questions, we'll vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Story? Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. Consider a motion to transfer, this is F, consider a motion to transfer Lacey Davidson from teacher at North Sand Mountain High School to countywide ARI coach effective August the 1st. I'll make the motion.
Second.
Mr. Story seconds that. Any discussion? We'll move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. G, consider a motion to transfer Jessica Samples from a teacher at Flat Rock School to countywide ARI coach effective August the 1st.
I'll make the motion, approve G.
Mr. Story makes a motion.
Second.
Dr. Guest seconds that. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
No.
Mr. Gant's no. And myself is a yes, that motion carries. Consider a motion to transfer Shannon Titshaw from a teacher at Bridgeport Elementary School to a countywide ARI coach effective August the 1st. I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Story seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
And myself is a yes, motion carries. We amended and scratched I. So, under employ, we have considered a motion to employ Derek Wynn as a teacher, head basketball coach at Section High School effective June the 1st, 2018.
I make a motion we approve.
Mr. Story makes that motion, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Gant seconds that, is there any discussion? No discussion, we'll move to vote, Mr. West.
Yes.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, that motion carries. B, consider a motion to employ the following CNP employees for 5 hours per day during the month of June for seamless summer meal program. It's a great program. Can we take these all in one block?
Yes.
Mr. West, you good with one block?
Yeah.
Okay. Just to read those off, we have Bridgeport Elementary, Dutton, Macedonia, North Sand, is this section, Stevenson and Woodville, 2 employees each. Do we have a motion to approve those seamless summer meal program workers?
I make that motion.
Dr. Guess makes a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Story, I think, had it first. Any discussion?
Why is Skyline not on that list?
They must have not made
They,
it.
they do not have the summer feeding program.
They have had it in the past, I think, but.
They, you know, it's been several years since they've had it, haven't they, Doc? I don't even know that they've had it since you've been in our system, actually.
Okay. We appreciate your work on getting these set up, though. It's a good service to our students. So unless there's any other questions, we will move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Dr. Yes?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, and that motion carries. Under announcements, do we have any special announcements? Mr. Dukes?
Good luck to our Lady Chiefs today and tomorrow in Montgomery.
Okay. And as far as our next board meeting, do we have a solid date on that yet?
Do not. And I think that may be one we just kind of have to get our schedules together and everybody see, because we've all got a trip to AASB during the middle of June. I've got SSA during the middle of June. I think we've probably got vacation, so.
Okay. So that will give, we need to give time, I guess, for some postings to come out for rehires.
And if everybody could just call or email Jana, any dates that they do not have available would be better.
Okay. So we will get with Jana and coordinate those. I know, who else on the board is going to the conference, or you going, so Mr. West, are you going to?
Yes,
Okay,
I'll
so-
be.
So we'll be gone, I think you're gone the week after.
What date's that?
14th,
14th and 15th?
14th, 15th, 16th, 17th.
Yeah. Okay, so we will make that announcement as soon as we get that solid date on the calendar. And Jenna will get that out to the media and everybody else. Any other announcements?
It's been a happy time at the beach together, all 6 of us.
Consider a motion to adjourn.
I make that motion.
I guess makes a motion for a second.
Second.
All right, Mr. Gant seconds that. Any discussion? And we'll move to vote to adjourn. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Story?
Yes.
Dr. Yes?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, and we are adjourned.